So, what are your thoughts as you look ahead to the upcoming season?
Um, my thoughts are hopefully have a better year than last. Well, I
Yep.
guess the last couple of last years, I guess. Um, and now that we've got my mom's heart condition all figured out, and we can go full steam ahead now.
There you go.
So
That's the
that's
good
super
that's the good
exciting.
news.
That is the good news.
So, what are the goals for this year? I mean, you've had a couple seasons at Sunset now. What's the goals for 2024?
Goals for 2024 is to pick up a heat win. Um, I would like to finish top 10 in points, or even
Right?
top 5 would be nice. And then just be consistent, really.
Yeah.
Consistency is key, especially in a big field.
So, how did you get your start in racing? I mean, I kind of know the story, but just for anybody that may be listening that may not know
So my start in racing was when I was in my mom's stomach at that point. Um, Back in the days when they used to go to Barrie Speedway, and I just used to kick my mom's stomach, and I would not stop. My mom blamed my dad from there on that this is your fault. And then after attending Barrie Speedway for multiple years, my dad purchased a car,
it. Yep.
which was supposed to be for me. And yeah, well, my mom wasn't having that. Um, we they my dad and Dan Archibald drove to Ottawa 3 nights before race season started and bought this car.
Yeah.
And we spent 3 days busting away at it. And it was a good learner car. The funniest thing with that car was my dad actually had Dan Archibald get in it.
Oh.
And after he drove it in a heat or a practice, I can't remember, he got out and shook my dad's hand and said, I think I need to go to the dentist now and get my teeth straightened. Because the car had such a push and such a rattle.
Yeah.
And then it and then we had that car for uh 3 years, I believe we had it.
'Cause it went through a couple
And
color
then
changes.
so when we first got it, it was black and yellow. And then, oh, maybe it was only 2 years because in the following year it was plum crazy purple.
Yes, I remember that one.
And then I'm looking on my wall here to see if I can like that I can't remember it, but I think no, it might have just been the 2 years. And then my dad built an Acura Integra, and he's had that car ever since.
Right.
Um, and then in 2018 is when I got my start with behind the wheel of my Cavalier.
Yep.
I ran that for 1 season. And then, oh, maybe it was two. Um, the pink, I guess it would only have been 1 year. Might have been only 1 year I drove the Cavalier. And then I bought my Integra the year later. And that had been the year COVID hit.
Right.
So I ran the car the COVID season at Flamborough.
Yep. Good times. Good times.
Believe it or not, the first race in my car, I had never driven standard. In a car I've never really been in, at a track I've never raced on. So the funny story, the first night I was sitting there in line thinking, what am I doing? Karlie, what are you doing? And I'm sitting there undoing my helmet as I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And next thing you know, the cars start rolling in front of me. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not throwing up. And away I went. And I've had that car ever since, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Even though she can be a little bit of a pain and not want to run all the time.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that.
Okay, so let's instead talk about the family fun. I mean, you mentioned it. Your mom's doing great, and your mom's hard.
Yeah.
Situations getting big, and we see it every week at the track. It's your mom, your dad, you, Andrew, Austin, Cheyenne.
Yes, so our
What's
team is
it, yeah,
very
what's it like having that family atmosphere like every week at the track?
it's a great time. I'm thankful to have my family as my crew because I mean, when cars don't always work the way you want them to, you don't always have the best moods and you really don't want to take it on the people that are coming to help you when I live with the people that help me, so I mean they'll get over it. Um but I mean I'm thankful for the guys busting their butts every week because they went to work on my car every single week and we could not figure out what the issue was.
Right.
It's almost as if my car had a mind of its own. Because it would drive up into the trailer perfectly fine, but it didn't want to drive out.
Sure, it doesn't need like a spell cast on it or something before the year.
Oh, well, the asphalt princess who has other names and I'm not going to mention, but hopefully she's an asphalt princess and not the demon.
So having all those fun times with family at the track, what's been the most memorable moment for you?
The most memorable moment would be, I think for me, it would be Andrew's first feature win.
That was big.
Unfortunately, I was sidelined because my car didn't want to work, but I was thankful that I at least got to watch it from the infield.
Yeah.
I mean, with 3 laps to go, I could barely even stand. I'm like holding on to the wall like it was gonna hold me up.
I don't know who was pacing more, you or your dad.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. But I mean, that was a pretty sweet victory for us considering all the like he was getting closer and closer and closer and it just wasn't there until that night hit and he was just able to go with it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
also the competition that goes on in my house weekly after a night of racing is also pretty memorable too.
Right.
They're very, oh, I'm gonna beat you. Oh, well, you'll be looking at my back bumper.
Oh,
Oh, please, come on now.
so there's more trash talking in their own house than with other drivers.
Yeah, yeah, they're very competitive in this house.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I mean, I could see it. You see it with, Austin always telling me that he's gonna beat you.
Yeah, nothing's changed there.
No.
Nothing has
Last question.
changed there.
No. So last question. We know you're one of the ladies of the oval and that, and obviously a lot of girls look up to you, ladies, for what you guys are doing. What's a piece of advice you give to those girls that are just getting started?
Advice I would give to those girls is just race your race. Don't get in your head too much. And just be proud of what you're doing.
Right.
Just be proud of what you're doing.